look exactly like 12 years ago.
Really?
You
Oh,
came
okay.
to Taiwan and then you got your photos shared on the internet. So
Okay.
that's why I saw your picture. Wow, you look the same.
Yeah, thanks for that. And yes, I conducted two workshops in Taiwan. I believe one was about 6, 7 years back, and the other one
Mm-hmm.
maybe 10. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's just amazing for me to see so many works you have done for Toastmasters. Like you were involved in the like a committee and
Right.
you have been the governor for District 83 and then you have been in so many conferences helping others.
Yeah,
I'm
because
wondering where does this passion from?
I think Toastmaster is a very interesting organization because even when I started Toastmaster, I wasn't even looking to improve my public speaking. Because
Wow.
first time I stepped into a Toastmaster club, I was like, wow, this is a perfect place for me to practice my English. I didn't even know about what is exactly is communication, what is leadership, management.
Mm.
I didn't know any of that. I thought it was a perfect place for me to practice English. And I was right, it was a perfect place, but I didn't realize there's so many more things I can do in Toastmasters. In my club, I started with Excellence Toastmasters in Taipei. And
Oh,
then,
really?
yes,
20 years ago?
it's a little while ago, yes. And then when they wanted to start the Legacy Club, I was tasked to help to start a club. So I was
Mm-hmm.
a charter club vice president of education, VPE, and the
Oh, wow.
of Legacy Toastmasters Club, yeah, in Taipei.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
That was a while
Wow.
ago.
So, yeah. And then after what reason you went to New York?
Oh, I come here to study in statistics.
Mm-hmm. So you are now a specialist in statistics, and also you work for a pharmaceutical company, and then you work as photographer and
Yeah,
a
that's
content writer, and so many titles.
well, these are not title. These are the things I care about.
Oh,
And
yeah, right,
titles are
right.
for work, of course, that I have worked in mostly the space for data. So any
Mm-hmm.
kind of medical data, for example, in pharmaceutical company or pharmaceutical industry overall, I've been working on for quite some years. And I kind of took a detour to different kinds of biomedical data. I work in a hospital insurance organization. I work for the a consumer care company that is one of the world's largest cosmetic company in the world. And I work for smaller, interesting places before I switch back to the pharmaceutical industry because I think
Mm.
this is where I could use most of my skills learned in schools. Because as you mentioned, I have advanced degrees in statistics. I also have another degree in biotechnology. And in
Right.
Taiwan, I major in agriculture, so I know biochemistry, biology, microbiology, and now statistics and biotech. So that helped me to see the bigger picture of the whole industry. So
Yeah,
that,
considering so many domains you are working on, you
but
must be living a very, very busy life, aren't you?
yes, so I have to kind of narrow it down to only a few fields that I know I can do well. So I mentioned statistics, biology, and chemistry. So these are the three fields I stick to with my work and career.
Mm. Wow.
And
And
for other things
also,
like hobbies and things I care about, including Toastmasters.
right, right. I went through your Facebook posts, And I was so like inspired by those posts you put on there,
Oh, thank you.
sharing with they are very interesting and like funny and very inspiring as well. So how come like you have those resources or like why you want to share those posts?
Well, for me, Facebook is a great place to collect information and to connect with people that you
Right.
know. I think I just touched the button. Sorry, I was muted for a few seconds. For me, Facebook is a great place to collect your speech information. Because if you wanted to make a speech, just go through your Facebook wall or feed, and you'll find tons of ideas from your friends, from people you know. And if you know how to put them together, it's very easy to make a speech out just from the Facebook feed that you see in a single day or in a week. So for me, that's a great source of information for speech ideas. And since I already got those ideas, I think it's good to share with people I know as well. So that's why I have a lot of posts to
Right.
entertain my friends and also in some cases to inspire them to do something.
Yeah, it's intriguing. Like you are uh in the description of what you do, you are a comedian as well. So
Yes, I
you do
enrolled
stand-up
and
comedy?
yes, I have enrolled in a stand-up comedy training class for yeah 1 year. I was in a class for 10 weeks. And at that time our instructor was a very nice funny man named Brad Trackman. And we have about 12 people in the class. We practiced and we went through script reading, writing with Brad. And then at the end, he put us to a real comedy club and let us try it out our routine. And I thought that's a wonderful experience because for us, there's two things in stand-up comedy that really helped me. One is about writing because for stand-up comedy, you have to be able to deliver something fun in very short sentences. And you have to carefully construct the structure of your sentence and choose the words that would have the maximum impact. So I thought
Right.
this is a good training for us. And Brad also instructed us to start with something that we know very well. For example, for me, that was statistics. So he said, could you make something fun about statistics? And I thought for a few days and I came up with some line like this. My job is very stressful. I have trouble sleeping, and people recommended me to count sheep. But guess what? Every time I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I jump up from my bed because I have to calculate the mean and the standard deviation of that. So that's very much tied to my work. And of course, I
Mm-hmm.
can do that to different things, different parts of my life. And Brad showed us that anything and everything could be funny if we look
Mm-hmm.
at it the right way or the wrong way, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for the stand-up comedy in very short in one line. Okay. And I'm wondering like why you have decided to come back to Taiwan this year to give us the speech on implemental improvement.
Well, I come back to Taiwan every year, almost like
Oh,
because after, well, I didn't come back for about 3 years because of the pandemic, but
yes.
I have families in Taipei, so I visit them every year.
Oh,
But I just have to kind of move my schedule around to be at the same time with the district conference so I can attend. And last year,
mm.
I actually attended the District 67 conference myself, and I
Oh, you were there. Oh,
met a few of very interesting people. And of course, some people invited me to submit some workshop proposals. So I submitted
oh,
a few workshop proposals to Ben, and I asked him if he want more proposals, and he said this one is good. He liked this, so here I
yeah.
am.
Wow, we are so honored that we will be able to hear your speech this year. Yeah.
I think
You were workshop, right?
yes, I think incremental improvement is a topic that, especially for adults, and we are all mostly adults in Toastmasters because we only
Yes.
limit our membership to 18 or older. And adult learning is quite different than the children's
Mm-hmm.
because we have so many other things to worry about or to attend to. And
Mm-hmm.
kids just focus on learning. If they want to learn to speak a language, they do it all day long. They want to learn to walk. For example, for baby learn to walk. That's the only thing they care about the entire day,
Right.
entire week. But for adults, we have so many other things. Most of us need to work, and we may have family members we have to attend to, and then we have friends, we have other things. But how can we still try to learn something and that become a challenge. And that's why I had thought a lot about learning as an adult. And
Mm-hmm.
learning as an adult, the biggest trait of it is incrementally because you cannot learn just like kids. You play for a day or two and then suddenly you can walk. It's not that simple for grown-ups. So we need
Mm-hmm.
them and ways to actually do that more effectively.
Mm-hmm. So like you consider the most challenging part for adult is like to put thoughts into action, and especially we need to work in many different things daily on daily basis.
Yes. So call to action is step number one. And then you have to have a system to keep you doing more and more action very deliberately because you may have action for a day or two and then you forget about it or you get too busy and the next thing you know, it's been 6 months. You haven't worked on things that you care about. And that's
You're
common
right.
to me before, so I know.
Mm. Yeah, I believe like many adults would have the problem of like reaching their goals, and they
Mhm.
would have like many plans set ready, but like ended up with nothing in the end. So they will be very disappointed about themselves. So they just give up on like dreaming or even planning. So I think your workshop will probably bring like many meaningful like tips for them.
Sure, yes. For me, it's more important to build a system or routine to support you because you don't have to do this alone. Because when we think about learning, yes, for example, learn to walk, you do have to do it alone because nobody else can actually help you on learning to
Right.
walk. But if you want to learn to, say, speak a new language, there's plenty of help that you can get. And how do you build a system around your goal and keep you focused and motivated for a long period of time until you actually are able to do what you want to do? And I think that's a pretty challenging thing. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
developed this workshop because I've been through some of those things myself and I read about it on some articles and books, and I took the methods back and I tried them again to refine my method. I think it's going to be exciting to share some of my finding with fellow Toastmasters.
Okay, wow. And I wonder what is the most unforgettable like events like when you apply this method in
Yeah, for
your
me, I
practice.
think the most unforgettable one was the COVID pandemic because I am I live in this New York metropolitan area.
Right.
In this area, we have over 100,000 people die in a few short months. And during that time, I rarely leave my home, even for groceries. I just walk around my neighborhood every day. I try to avoid contact with anybody physically. And
Mm-hmm.
so in that very stressful environment, I still have to work full time. I still have to take care of myself. And during that time, I started thinking about the things I do. And could I do a lot of things with all the restrictions to me physically? If I could only connect with people with phone calls and internet, what's the best things I could do? And for my friends, I have to set up a series of Zoom meetings to so everybody can stay connected. And for my mother, she never learned to use Zoom, so the old-fashioned phone call still will be the communication. But
Right.
in that time, I had a very long commute, about 2 to 3 hours drive to work and come back. And during the pandemic, I work remotely, so I don't have to drive. And in I have 3 extra hours a day, but I have to use it very wisely. So I started coming up with idea to learn to do things. And some of those things are pretty okay. I learned a few days and I could do quite well, but some other things would take much longer time to learn. And that's why I started collecting information and I started thinking about how I can learn or do things more effectively. So, and all of those things come to me and I started looking into my routines, started looking into what I have done, what I'm about to do. Is that going to be effective for the long run, or it's going to just feel good about it? I have to look at everything I do analytically and to make sure that I do the right thing and I stay very productive even during the pandemic. So
Mm.
that's why I come up with this workshop and also learn quite a few things through this. Even think about something as photography. I love photography and I've been
Right.
doing photography for a long time, but
Mm-hmm.
in the COVID pandemic, I didn't pick up my camera. But how can you not pick up a camera and still learn photography? That was
Right.
the same question I posted to myself. So
Mm-hmm.
the very natural and easy answer came up with that was to go back to look at what I have done and what my friends and people I admire have done for through their photography. So I started analyzing my own photo and I have experimented with different photo editing routines and different techniques, and I compare notes with my friends over the internet, open the Zoom call, and I share my screen. I show them my work and get the comments and feedback from them. And I'm reading books about famous photographers and look at their work, compare their work to mine. And there's some routine even suggested that if I could find something very similar to a masterpiece and how can I edit my work from my photo to the image of this masters. And it's kind of an interesting practice for me to be able to do that hands-on. But I have no means to actually, I don't even want it to be like those masters, but I want to learn from them because I believe photography is a very personal journey. And even imitation could get you so far, but you have to have your independent thinking and what you have to have a clear idea what you wanted to do with your image, what kinds of message or words you want to speak to the world through your image. And I thought that was a very interesting exercise and challenge for me to go through. And there are a bunch of other things I have done for photography. For example, I found an excellent landscape photographer. His name is Wilhelm Chang, and he was born in Taiwan, I believe, and but he has lived in Europe for most of his life, and he has an excellent streams of photo and great Facebook page. But later I found out he actually built a website and he has a photography class online. So I, without thinking, I enroll and I learn. I watch his the videos of how he did his photos and what was his thinking. And I learned so much from just taking a course online. So I figure we don't have to just stick to a single way of learning. You could learn from so many different ways, so from so many different people. You just have to build a system that actually support whatever you wanted to do. And I think it's a fascinating thing about photography, but you could do the same using the same principles and methods to do any kinds of creative work. And even when I say creative, it doesn't have to be art or music. You could be very creative in business as well. Look at how
Right.
many business that people started, and you look at some business, for example, you look at the Tesla or Rivian, the electronic cars, and you say, oh, those people are so creative. And you didn't realize they're being creative in something mechanical, not something related to art or music. But I
Right.
think art are connected to everything, including engineering, chemistry, biology, physics. And I believe everything is connected. But if you could draw your inspiration from another field and put it to what you're doing, you're going to create great things out of there.
Yeah, wow. You are a very balanced like person to me. You have your life, your like work, your family, and your like interest, everything like in balance and also connected with each other. That sounds
Yeah, I
wonderful.
put things on my calendar so I could be balanced. For example, I have to put like every day at 8:30, I have to call my mother because if I'm getting into the mode of actually studying for photography or practice my violin or I do something else, I'll forget to call my mother. So I have to actually put a calendar item.
Mm,
So I remember to call my mother. Yeah, so yes, I have been very fortunate to live in this modern world. I can have the technology to support me. Otherwise, my mother would complain to me, "Hey, you haven't called for days," because I was into something else. But with calendars and various way to kind of remind ourselves at what time we need to do what. And I think that's very useful, including this call. Yeah, I have to put a calendar item, and
yeah.
I know I would make to this phone call. Yes.
Thank you so much. And it's been an hour, so I think we have to conclude this meeting. And
Sure.
I appreciate your like you answer me in so many details. I really appreciate that. And I'm wondering, is there anything else you want me to talk about in the video I will be making for the promotion?
I think it go back to my workshop. Adult learning is never easy or simple. You have to build a system and a support around your project in order for you to succeed. Come to
Mm-hmm.
my workshop, Incremental Improvement, a personal journey to success. And I believe through interchange of ideas, we can learn how to learn better.
Wow. So like you saved me so much time in preparing the video. Wow, that sounds just like a perfect ad to me. And also, anything you want me to tell people about you, like the nine
Well,
million
workshop in
US
English.
dollars, like money, or like photography or chocolates or anything you think it would be interesting to mention to people?
I think one interesting thing to mention to people is that we don't have to stick to a single forms of communication. Even this may be an English workshop. You can ask me question in Chinese after the workshop or before the workshop if you to. Because for me, language or words are just a tool for communication. And if we can
Right.
even with our hands and our facial expressions and body movement, if we can communicate with those, then we can communicate. We don't have to stick to a single forms of communication. And I
Mm-hmm.
know some people prefer to text, and I do text people here and there, and I also use Teams and Zoom and Line and other messaging softwares and apps. So
Mm-hmm.
communication is a will. If you wanted to communicate, you will find a way.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And last but not least, like I wonder if like you will see the signs, like the timer will be holding the signs for you, like a green, red, yellow cards. So
Still 40, 45, and 50 then. I think that's
40, 45,
50.
50.
That will leave us
Okay.
some time for Q&A if people want to ask additional questions.
So you want to have 10 minutes Q&A?
Oh, we can have more than that if people have more questions. But
Okay.
what I usually do is I would prepare my workshop, and I also have something like additional if we are actually ahead of schedule, but most likely won't because I like to take questions when my workshop is going on because sometimes if people don't ask question immediately, then they'll forget about their question. But I will allow some question even in the gaps of the slides so we could address some issues or questions people may have. And then, of
Mm,
course, official or formal Q&A would come at the end.
mm-hmm. Okay. Uh, I will be like delivering the microphones when you are asking questions.
Oh, sure. Yes.
And what else you would like me to note, keep notes?
I think
Anything?
no, if I think of something, I have your email, I can communicate with you.
Right, right. Okay. Thanks a lot. I look forward to talking to you again because I believe after I make these video clips, I will show you and then please give me some comments and see how we can make it better so we can
Okay.
start promoting soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot for tonight.
Mhm.
Wow, you are such a role model to me now.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you and see you soon then.